It's SoCal and Hey Buds. Thanks for listening, watching, however you're taking this in right now. This is the Good Laff podcast reaction video / podcast to the Four Nations Cup first game between Canada and Sweden last night, where Canada won by a score of 4-3 in overtime. As I told everyone, as I promised, I would be doing one of these. I'm a man of my word most of the time. And so here we are. Let's just dive in really quickly. So yesterday, I actually had as I've been talking about, I was posting, I had the privilege to go down to the game last night. So actually, let's show off some merch first. This is the Canada jersey. I didn't get anyone on the back because all they had left was Montembeau and Marchand. And like, as much as I wanted somebody on the back, I'm not spending the extra $80 on that. So I'm thinking whoever has a great tournament, I'll get it added to the back, and that will be my jersey for the Olympics. Can't go wrong with Sid, though. You know what I mean? I wanted Makar or McKinnon, but they sold out a then apparently in the first 30 minutes. Understandable. There's a huge crowd there last night wearing Colorado jerseys, and obviously there's a huge fan base of Colorado fans in Canada from the early 2000s, and it's just nice to see that around still, because I had a couple buddies growing up who were actually Colorado fans. So yeah, the game, we got down there last night, pretty good atmosphere. It was absolutely bonkers downtown Montreal. It was so hard to get a spot anywhere, to get a bit of food. But let's just go into the game experience now. So we get into the game, they bring the team out, the atmosphere was electric when they brought the team out. I unfortunately couldn't see the opening warm-ups because I was buying my jersey, my hat, and I'm a bit upset I missed that, but that's just the way life goes, I guess, right? So we're watching the opening ceremonies. They bring the team out. The place is just electric. Ole, ole, ole. Everyone is just going nuts. And I'm sure you've heard it on the broadcast, and then maybe you didn't watch it and you're just listening to me talk about it. So yeah, the atmosphere there for a bit was electric. They bring out Team Sweden, just absolutely booed at the stadium, which you don't want to, there's a part of that's, it's cool, you know what I mean? Another team should be booed. It's not a disrespect thing. I think Canadians respect Swedes. It's just sports. It's and all the players are laughing. They know it's not anything personal. It's just a pride thing. So then they bring out captains from every team with a representative. They bring out Sasha Barkov, aka Alexander Barkov. He mostly cheers actually for that guy. I think he's a pretty well-respected dude. They bring out Austin Matthews. Booed, I'm sure you heard it, booed at the stadium. One of my favorite players, but I booed him out of the stadium last night because I'm I'm wearing this jersey, bud. You're not. So, and then they bring out Mario Lemieux. And I couldn't even believe, I almost cried when they brought him out. I was actually speaking to somebody last night that I know quite well that was at the game that did cry when they brought him out. I just think of that guy as the ultimate example of perseverance, coming back from cancer, coming back from multiple back injuries, retiring, coming back, winning a gold medal in 2002 with Canada. If he has a full career, is he better than Gretzky? There's so many things about the guy that. He exemplifies professionalism in hockey. Mario Lemieux, I couldn't believe I was in the same building as a guy. I was probably 100 feet away from him, but even being in the same vicinity as him, I could feel the gravity from him. In 2002 when Canada won the gold medal, I was 8 or 9 years old. I do remember that though, because that guy is so memorable on that team. Nike helmet, Nike bucket, no visor, Nike stick, Nike gloves back when it was just Nike. The guy was just class, and I could feel it last night. And then they introduced Sid to come up with them, and the place, if there's anything about Montreal and about Quebec, they respect the hell out of Sidney Crosby. Even though he's never played for the Habs, they respect the hell out of him. I think it's because he's a Habs fan, so they know that, and they're like, that brings them joy and stuff. And plus, he's just a great player. Like, the great players, you can't hate them. You got to love them. And like the same thing goes for Sweden. There's like Victor Hedman, William Nylander. You can't hate those guys. They're so good at hockey. Let's get into the game. Puck is dropped. I think it's less than like 30-something seconds in. William Nylander, high sticks, Nathan McKinnon. Canada's going to the power play. And we all know that power play. McDavid, Crosby, Reinhart, Makar, McDavid. No, sorry. McDavid, Makar, Crosby, McKinnon, Reinhart. So yeah, they bring the flybys out, and I'm just like, me and my girlfriend went together last night. I look at her and I'm like, I can't see them not scoring, but at least if they don't score, there's going to be like 10 shots on net, and the momentum is just going to be swinging. Little did I know, quick face-off win, McDavid, Crosby, little give and go, Crosby, spinorama backhand pass, saucer, right on McKinnon's tape. McKinnon shoots it. Nate, who practices with Sid all the time, all he could do was laugh, because it's like, this guy, man, like, how did he do this move? And then you look at the goal scored by Nathan McKinnon, assisted by Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's so stupid. So, another bit more into the game. We get, I believe actually it's 13 minutes into the game. We get a little broken play down in Canada zone. We get a little breakout pass, and Brad Marchand and Braden Point are a 2-on-1. Braden Point to Brad Marchand, 2-zip Canada. Again, another cross-crease goal where Canada is utilizing both sides of the ice and making the goalie stretch. And Canada knows most of the time you're scoring on that play. So that's already 2 cross-crease goals Canada scored in the game. So we end the first period, 2-zip Canada. Sweden didn't have a shot. Maybe they had one. And I'm like, okay, this thing is as good as over already. Like, Canada just looks so dominant. We get into the second period. Canada looks a lot more flat-footed. You expect Sweden to make some sort of push. It's 2-0. They're not getting ran off the ice. As much as we all want to be 10-0 Canada, and that's still the reality I try to live in as well, that's not going to happen. So, 9 minutes into the second, Jonas Brodin. And see, this is what I've been screaming from day one about this team. These goalies aren't good enough. And it's not the fact that these are our only goalies. There's better goalies. Why the hell have we picked these guys? Jonas Brodin, great defenseman. Awesome puck mover. I do, like, whenever I watch Minnesota, whenever the Leafs play Minnesota, I'm watching Minnesota. I'm always like a bit watching that guy because he's a great puck moving defenseman. He flutters a knuckle puck on net, blocker side goes in. Binner. Up until that point, he made a couple good saves. I was like, maybe. That's one you can't let in. Like, it's so deflating. So deflating. One goal like that, it's just so deflating. 2-1. So, Sweden's still piling it on. Canada is just dumping, and it's a lot. It's very sloppy. However, we still have Sidney Crosby, and they don't. So, a little bit more into the game, we get 17 minutes into the game, into the second period. We get Sidney Crosby going down the wing, I forget what defenseman. It actually could have been Brodeen. Maybe Ekholm is on him, and Sid strong arms him, drags him over, waits for a second, passes Mark Stone. Mark Stone buries it again. Another side to side pass. Even though Stone is rushing down the center, it's another side to side pass, and we're making the goalie move 5-hole. All Mark Stone could do, same as Nate, is laugh. Sid. We go into the third period, up 3-1. Everyone is chanting Crosby. The place is starting. However, that second period, the atmosphere did die down because, like, I'm a proponent of, like, yeah, I know the Leafs, like, that barn is dead all the time. And, like, even when they give you something to cheer for, the people aren't cheering. But, like, last night, that second period, when it got dead, and I'd seen a couple tweets complaining about the energy in there. It's like, you got to give us something to cheer about. Like, it can't be boring hockey. Like, it got to be a give and take, right? Like, we were electric at the start. You were electric at the start. You start playing shit. We're just going to, the crowd is going to respond to your play. We go into the third period. Up 3-1. I'm like, okay. Canada, I actually knew. I had a feeling. You know that feeling you get? I always get it because I'm a Leafs fan. And that's the thing. I'm going into all of this as a Leafs fan. I haven't seen Canada best on best hockey since 2016. Arguably, 2016 wasn't even a real tournament. So 2014 is the last time Canada played. Since then, there's been a lot of heartbreak in Leafs land. A lot of heartbreak. So, I'm bringing all that energy and all that heartbreak and, like, just the World Juniors lately and, like, Canada's play recently, all this. I'm bringing all that in. And I'm like, there's no fucking way these guys aren't scoring. Sure enough, 2 minutes into that third period, Adrian Kempe scores. Like, St. Louis fans, I know what it's like. The Leafs had bad goaltending forever. And yeah, Bitter won you a cup, and I would take that over anything. But man, you got to, like, the Brodeen one, you got to have it. But this one, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I hate criticizing the goalie, like, because I know it's brutal. But what are you doing? That can't go in. 2 bad goals like that in a 4-day tournament, that's 2 bad goals too many, man, in my opinion. And that's coming, like, we had Samsonov in that. Please did. He's like, he would let bad goals every game. It's the most deflating thing ever for a team. Like, what the fuck? Sure enough, I'm like, there's no goddamn way we're not fucking tying this up now. 9 minutes in, Joel Eriksson bangs one in. And I'm like, yeah. Tied. And the way Canada looks, is Sweden going to win this game before it goes to overtime? That goal I don't blame on Bitter. But if you save the other 2, it's only 3-1. And you need a couple good saves, you know what I mean? But, like, it doesn't, like, even itself out. I think the deflating goals is way worse for momentum than a good save. I think it counteracts each other. Like, it's more negative, for sure. So, it's all clenching. Everyone's clenching for the rest of this game. Getting overtime. And then I forgot. It was 3-on-3 extended. So it's 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, one of these teams are going to score. But it's obviously going to be Sweden. And there's just going to be absolute heartbreak in this stadium. Like, just heartbreak. I'm getting ready. I was ready to leave because I'm like, let's beat the crowd, Robin. Like, I can't do this. Like, I just can't see them lose right now. Like, I would rather lose out on the money, like, not seeing them score right now. Like, I just can't. handle this loss right now emotionally for some reason. I was just so pissed with that goaltending. And it's because I was going into the game anxious with that goaltending already, and it just confirmed everything for me. So we get in overtime, and I actually watched Steve Dangle today reaction, and I thought the same thing he thought. Oh, they're putting Joel Eriksson Ek out there. They're just going to try to win the faceoff and play keep away until McDavid gets off the ice, and then they're going to make their attack. Sure enough, that's what happens. But overtime, I can tell you one thing, was no disappointment. The teams are going back and forth. Sweden had a couple of odd man rushes, which are just broken up by incredible defense. Devon Taves, that guy, like, there was a lot of good defense last night played by Canada, some bad as well. But Devon Taves is Colorado. You guys, like, I know Makar is amazing, but Devon Taves is the kind of guy that you don't get by him. Just the reads he makes is unreal. And, like, Canada's also so fast on the back check that it was just like, okay. There was a 3-on-1 Canada's way. I believe it was Crosby, McKinnon, or no, it was McDavid, McKinnon, Makar. I'm like, this is in. No, and then Sweden goes back the other way. Where's Sid? Sid's not getting a shift. Sweden goes down 2-on-1, doesn't score. Sid comes out, Marner. I'm not sure who the defenseman was. Apologies about that. I don't know who the third man on the ice was. Sid brings 3 Swedes over to him. Text puck. Dishes back to Marner. Sid gets onside. Marner enters the zone. Who's Marner going to pass to? Marner's obviously passing it. Why would Marner pass it? Marner shoots. Marner goes top corner. Not Leafs win, sorry. That's a joke. Canada wins. Goal scored by Mitch Marner, who didn't have a great game. But is that the biggest goal of his career? Maybe. So yeah, the place erupts. Ole, ole, ole. Crosby gets player of the game at 37 years old. Crosby gets 3 primary assists at 37 years old. Crosby is some outrageous number, 26, 36 and 0, wearing a Canada jersey. And yeah, I was excited because I was pretty down on the game there for a bit. But the overtime completely changed. Like how exciting overtime was just awesome. So yeah, just a couple little other things on the game. Shea Theodore is hurt. John Cooper confirmed last night that he's in for the rest of the tournament. That may seem like a long time, but it's only like 10 days. I think Aiden Hill starts next game. There's no... I can't see how you go back to Bennington after letting those 2 in just to see what you get from Hill. Like, can you get a win? If you get a win from Hill against the States, that's huge. Maybe the game is close, whatever, but you got to see what you have in Hill. And then you make your decision for Finland. Whoever played the best of those 2 guys. That's just it. I knew goaltending was going to be so bad for this team, and it just really exemplified last night. Another thing, I have a feeling we might see Sam Bennett in the lineup tomorrow night. I have a feeling we might see someone come out. The Cirelli, Konechny, Hagel line was all -2. I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen Konechny come out. We've seen Sam Bennett come in. I like Marner's game. However, I felt like it was McDavid and 2 other guys on his line a lot of the time. And I wonder if dropping Marner down on a 3rd or 4th line, who still got plenty of ice time, and you can still move him up. And I thought Marner, I like Marner. I'm a Leafs fan, and I want him to have a great tournament because I think it'd be so good for him and the Leafs. Maybe dropping him down to more of a 3rd or 4th line, and maybe him be more of a shutdown and putting Sam Bennett up there. Because I feel like McDavid might play better with a type of player like Sam Bennett. He's more bang and crash. So we'll obviously see tomorrow night. Travis Sanheim is going to come in for Shea Theodore, which I feel like, Shea Theodore's great, but Travis Sanheim deserves to be on the team as well. So I'm excited to see what he can bring. He's a bit more physical. That's one thing last night I noticed that Canada was better than Sweden at. It is the physicality. It is that drive. And I think the thing that I'll leave it at and keep this really, really short is it's really hard. I realized after last night, it's really hard to get down on this team when you got guys like Sid and McDavid and McKinnon. And I personally think some guys that didn't have a great game. And really now coming to think of it, going down to 5 defensemen, did that have an impact? Maybe people are having to play with different people all the time. It's getting awkward out there. You would like Shea Theodore in there. Not to get too much into ref talk, but maybe there could have been some more calls both ways. I don't know. Not to mention the third period, Ken did, however, have a huge penalty kill and killed it off, which was great to see. Sorelli and Hagel, and then on the penalty kill is outrageous. Yeah, so that's basically how we're going to leave it. It was super great being there last night. I unfortunately have to work for Saturday's game against the States, but I will be watching it later. Hopefully they win, so I'm not watching it later and it's a waste of time. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. As Jordan Reed would say, good laugh.